going to be talking about the psychology of fasting and why it is we can mentally kind of talk ourselves out or freak ourselves out about something that we've never really physically put into place. If you are joining us on the rebroadcast, thank you for clicking that play button and following along with us. Always feel free to leave a comment in the comment section and make sure you have taken the second to subscribe and or like the platform that you are on. We always appreciate our rebroadcast members as well. And if you're catching us live, please make sure that you introduce yourself when you jump on in the comment section, because at the end of my conversation, I always take a few minutes to answer questions and comments and welcome everybody who has jumped on live with us as well. If you're new, my name is Diane and I'm a certified exercise nutrition coach who has spent the last 25 years helping primarily women find nutrition plans and fitness programs to help them look and feel their best and live their most authentic life. And here in this community, we are doing that through the practice of intermittent fasting and developing a keto-like lifestyle that will, in fact, help us live our most authentic life. So today, like I said, we are going to be talking about the psychology of fasting and why it is that we feel stressed out about going hours without consuming any kind of food, and what it is that we do to ourselves to psych ourselves out of something before we even try it. And I will admit that I am super guilty of doing this too and for myself. I spent 2 years on the sidelines watching people who were practicing intermittent fasting and had my own very judgmental opinions about what it is they were doing and why it is they were doing it. And I thought that they were absolutely crazy. So I spent 2 years very critical and psyching myself out of even giving it a try, because I came from the school of eating every 2 hours throughout your day, and that you must eat breakfast like within minutes of your feet hitting the floor in the morning when you woke up. And I just didn't understand why anyone would ever put themselves through such torture. And I came through to those sort of conclusions on the sidelines because I was hypoglycemic and I didn't handle sugar well, and I was still just stuck in this paradigm and this thinking process of what we had believed for so many years. And so I just was psyching myself out of it and trying to find all these mental like logistics of why it was that this wasn't going to work for me. And then I became diagnosed as a pre-diabetic. And I always say, if this were to happen, then I would for sure do this 100%. And if this were to happen, I would definitely not question that, and I would implement that into my life, immediately. And then I became pre-diabetic, and I thought, oh my gosh, here I am. Now, what I have been doing, and this way I've psyched myself out, and the psychology that I had in my own head about why I had to eat this way, suddenly started backfiring on me. And I really had to take a different look and change how I was viewing things from the sidelines. And I had to go into a new way of thinking and a new psychology about this for myself, because I was sick. And I really needed to make sure that I turned things around for myself. And the way I had been eating and the way I had been living wasn't working for me anymore. And so I did reach that point of, oh my gosh, if this were to ever happen to me, I would do this one thing without question. I just didn't know at the time that intermittent fasting was going to be the thing. And so how is it that we get caught in these little psychological traps, or why the psychology of things tend to become more important to us, or stand the ground before scientific data, or maybe even sometimes in my situation it was common sense? And that's just because we're humans, and that's the way society has sort of led us to be, and we have these belief systems, and we have believed, because it at the time it did make sense that you should be eating every 2 hours, because when I didn't eat every 2 hours, I didn't feel good. I just didn't know that way of living was perpetuating the problem, and that if I could just break that cycle, that I could actually feel better. And so we in a sense do it innocently to ourselves, but then we have that little section of it where we should really look at it a little bit closer and take a little bit more personal approach to it, and we're kind of guilty about just not thinking about ourselves or not thinking for ourselves, and we're following blindly. And that's where we kind of get into the trap. thanks to easily accessible information and research sciences and nutritional sciences that are so readily available for us today, there are very few people who are unaware of what good nutrition is. And so, how is it that we can know what good nutrition is and we know what some foods do to us, but we still find ourselves in that trap of not being able to make educated decisions for ourselves or wise decisions for ourselves? And so we have to take some time, and for some people it is being diagnosed with something or being told that something's a problem in your body, to get that awakening or that aha moment of, oh my gosh, now I need to take this seriously. And when those things happen, that's when the psychology for something like fasting can really be changed. And that's exactly what happened to me. And when I really started practicing fasting in a way that I wasn't so anxious about, but I was really determined about because I felt like I had no other options, that's when I really started to reap the benefits of it and really started to understand the processes that were happening in my body and how I could be in control of changing the overall outcome of my health and my future. And so we really do have to take a step back sometimes and really just question some things and think about why it is we're passing judgment on something we've never ever tried before. And I've also had this experience as a runner. I was always a 10K runner. I never really ran more than 6.2 miles, and that was pretty adequate for me. And I never even thought or even could understand why people would run for 4 hours at a time or 2 hours at a time, and how is it that people are running these half marathons and what's the point of it? And again, I found myself in that really judgmental, closed-minded place, and I had it in my own head like that it was just not necessary to do, until I trained for my first half marathon, and I found so much pleasure in it, and I saw the joy of and felt the joy of why someone would want to train their body that way, and the pleasure in the outcome of being in a race and being successful just for crossing the finish line for a lot of people in those types of races. And so now I understand like my own psychology about longer runs or distant runners, or why it is that people put their bodies to extremes. I understand that now, and I can see why it is people do that. The same thing happens with nutrition. The same things happens with fasting. And oftentimes, we talk about the psychology of eating, and we never really talk about the psychology of not eating. And here we have a phrase that we like to use, and that is do nothing and embrace everything. And there's something really powerful when you can really stop and let your mind rest and just understand that sometimes it's okay to just do nothing. That we don't always have to find that quick elixir or that quick fix or run from, one thing that you're going to test because Betty said it worked, and then find another thing that you're going to test because Johnny said it worked, and then you're going to put something else in your body because Elizabeth down the street said it worked, and you're never giving your body an opportunity to just empty itself out and start fresh. And that really is what happens when we start incorporating a practice like intermittent fasting. And then even the word fasting alone psychologically has a lot of stress reactions for a lot of people, which is why here we really do want to make sure that we focus on intermittent fasting and the practice of doing something within a 24-hour period that's just going to give your body an opportunity to run through its own systems and really set its own clock for when it is your body is ready to have some nutrition in it. Oftentimes we don't even pay attention to that. We don't pay attention to the mental, emotional, and physical need that we really have for food, and everything is done on just a brain shut off, emotional shut off of someone told me I had to do XYZ at these times, and because they said it, I'm going to do it, and we don't really factor in the side effects or the end result of what's happening to our body. So if you're in that position where you're looking at something like fasting and you've been sitting on the sidelines and your brain is telling you and your emotions are setting you up for saying, these people are crazy, I could never even imagine doing that for myself, I would just ask that you put yourself in a position of curiosity and put yourself in a position of maybe a little bit of even vulnerability. And for me, it was humility of just being, okay, I can't be so critical about something I've never even tried. I can't be so critical and so judgmental on the sidelines when clearly what these people are doing seems to be working for them, and what I'm doing for me is no longer working for me. And I had to just put myself out there and take a little bit of a risk. And I'm so grateful today that I did, because not only have I cured my own body, but I'm really teaching a lot of other women to ask themselves the same questions and to just really take a chance on trying something new and seeing what happens. The beautiful thing about intermittent fasting and developing a lifestyle of nutrition that suits your life authentically is that you can finally throw the rule books out. You don't have to be a paleo. You don't have to be dairy free. You don't have to be gluten free. You don't have to be a vegan. You don't have to be a vegetarian. You don't have to be a meat eater. You don't have to be anything. Just feed your body in a way that your body is telling you that it needs to be fed. And you won't really understand what those signs and signals are, and even in some situations, what those cravings are, unless you completely empty your body out and you really understand what your body feels like when you reintroduce nutrition to it. And yes, you can do that in a very short span of a fasting window. You can do that from an 18, from a 20, from a 22, and in some situations for some bodies, even as little as 16 hours of fasting, which basically means you stop eating at dinner and you just skip your breakfast. And when you get your body to that point where it's starting to work off its own resources, then when you introduce something into it, and in that situation, it's going to be something new into it, even though it may be something that you've consumed before, your body's going to have a reaction that you're going to be aware of. And that's really where we start to notice some of those things that we have not made a connection to that could be making us sick. So don't let your own psychological makeup or the psychology of what it is that we think we're supposed to be doing hinder you from having an opportunity to experience something that is so amazing, not only for you physically, but mentally, what it's doing for a lot of women emotionally, and then what it can do for the lifespan that you have to look forward to, because even anti-aging benefits of fasting have been surfacing in this community repeatedly now, because we've had such a length of time and such a large community of women doing what we're doing, that the results that we're getting are just phenomenal, and they're never identical. And I'm always just dumbfounded when someone comes back to me and says, "You're not going to believe what I'm experiencing because I gave this a try." And fasting doesn't have to be something that you have to do religiously 365 days out of your year. It can be a thing that you can ebb and flow in and out of as your body feels like it needs to have an opportunity to do nothing and embrace that everything. And there's some empowerment that you're going to feel for yourself as a woman, knowing that you can do something like this, that you do not have to have food as a security blanket, and that you don't have to have your body constantly feeling full and fed to be secure and happy. There is an amazing feeling that comes about when you can live off your own body's resources and just have an opportunity to embrace everything, and we call that the energized sense of calm. So don't psych yourself out of something that could be absolutely life-changing and amazing for you, and just give something an opportunity to run its course through your body. And if it works for you, fantastic. And if it doesn't work for you, then congratulations. You at least stepped out and gave something a try, and then you can go back and do some more research and find something that's going to work for you. So I'm going to take a few minutes to welcome everyone. I'll start on Facebook, and then I'll jump on to YouTube and welcome everyone who's jumped in with us tonight. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. We are entering week 3 of our June intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman group, and they're doing the social and emotional aspect of intermittent fasting and living this type of lifestyle. So hopefully this topic is hitting home with you guys tonight. And then my F3 course, we're getting into really figuring out how to fast well while incorporating fitness. And again, that's a big psychological change that we have to make as well. And then for you who have been in this community, haven't jumped into a course with us yet, I hope this triggers something for you as well, that you can really maybe rethink some things and consider the opportunity that you might have for yourself if you just give something new a go. Hey, let me see if I can get to the bottom of the comments here. I always like to welcome the first person first when I open up for comments. Let's see who we got on here first tonight. Oh, lots of comments. Thanks, you guys. I love it when you comment. Lisa, congratulations for being first on tonight and welcome. Joy, always good to have you with us, girlfriend. Janet from Nevada. Jennifer is here. Kathy, hello. Donna, good to see you, girlfriend. Michelle from Louisiana. Jamie, glad to catch you live. I'm so glad you're here too, Jamie, and you're in the F3 course, so you know exactly what I'm talking about with what we're doing with our fasting and our feasting, and really trying to get over that psychological block that we have about being empty and heading into a workout. So it's really fantastic when you can get your head wrapped around that and really get your body to do some pretty amazing things fitness-wise as well. Justine, love that top. Thank you, girlfriend. It is a current spring and summer fashion at Old Navy. So if you have an Old Navy nearby, you can grab one of these as well. I absolutely love it too. Gabby has a dress that matches this one. We like to go out together dressed alike. Erica, welcome. Susan from Georgia. Allison from Michigan. Michigan's Upper Peninsula. That's very specific. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds like a really cool place. Carrie from Vancouver, Washington, welcome. Julie from Louisiana. Mariana from Virginia. Carrie came from your F3 course listening here in Vancouver. Awesome, girlfriend. Let's see. Desiree, what length of window do you recommend, and do you think opening it earlier or later is best? I think you have to figure out the window that works best for your lifestyle. I practice all intermittent fasting protocols now, and I really just adjust it to my life and what I have going on with whatever goals I have for myself. If you are a healing woman, meaning that you're trying to balance some things out in your body, I always recommend trying to get to a 20-hour clean fast and clean fasting that way until you feel like your body's healed. So I hope that answers that question there. We teach all of that in the course on how to figure out the best protocol for you and what you need to do to get your body to a healing state. Susan, are you able to briefly explain the benefits of IF and blood sugar with diabetes? Well, intermittent fasting, the beautiful thing about being in a fasted state is it allows you an opportunity to burn through excess glycogen stores. So that's where you really get the benefit. Where I specifically, I'll talk about me specifically since I'm not a doctor. So when I was diagnosed with a pre-diabetic state, and I was also insulin resistant, really limiting my carbohydrate intake and allowing my body an opportunity to burn through the extra glycogen stores is really how I was able to lower my A1C level, and then eventually control what I had going on with my sugar issues. And I was hypoglycemic as well. Like literally I could not go more, like if it was 2 hours and 1 minute, I was crying or stressed out, or someone was trying to shove food in my mouth so that my mood would change. Kind of that's how desperate I was about having something in me every 2 hours because of blood sugar levels. And now I can go 22 hours. I think I fasted today, was it, Michael? 22 hours, I think it was. And I worked out for an hour and a half fasted. So a lot of things can change for you once you get your blood sugar levels under control and you get your body balanced out. You can also do the same type of thing with the ketogenic diet, but the ketogenic diet is more regimented on managing your macros to actually take advantage of ketosis, because you're not limiting the time in which you start introducing food into your body. So intermittent fasting and managing your carbohydrate intake will really be the best way and the easiest way and the most authentic way to live your life and still be able to manage diabetes and blood sugar levels, for sure. Jennifer, the not eating has changed my whole life. The fasting is where all of my physical and emotional healing is happening. Oh, me too, girlfriend. I cannot fall back into my crutches and bad habits because during my fasting window, those are just not available to me. I'm doing nothing and I'm gaining everything. Jennifer, that was perfectly put. And I think that is the general consensus with what happens with women when they really get comfortable with their fasting and their feasting, is that not only are you having an opportunity to heal your body from the inside out, but so many women are finding that their emotional healing with food and a lot of what we're doing just emotionally in general in our life gets so evened out, and that's the energized sense of calm, because we feel like we're finally in power and we're doing that empty. which I think is really where the magic happens, is that we finally understand what it's like to live off our own resources, and that's a really magical place. So Jennifer, thank you for sharing that. Susie from Iowa, following for over a year, strict keto for 15 months, tried IF and failed a year ago. I wasn't ready. The topic rings so true to me today. Now doing IF for the past 3 months and loving it. Broken 8-month weight loss stall. Not psyching myself out anymore. Fantastic, Susie, and congratulations. I'm finally not afraid of feeling hungry. Just listening to my body. Finally, thank you for your inspiration, encouraging all of us to be authentic. You are truly an inspiration to live life to the fullest every day. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you and the message you are sharing for all of us. Susie, thank you so much for saying that. And I'm so happy to hear you didn't quit, that you reintroduced it at a time when you felt it was more convenient or more authentic for you to do that. So congratulations to you for doing that. And an IF a keto and an intermittent fasting style of eating is really the perfect combination, because you do not have to follow so many strict guidelines. Desiree, I really like that perspective. How long is your window and timing? My window and timing changes every day now because I'm healed. I don't know how long I'm going to fast tomorrow. I think Michael and I were planning on 16 or 18 hours.
About 18.
I don't know. Today I was going to break my fast at around 18 hours, but I wasn't hungry. So then next thing I knew, it was time to eat, and it was 22 hours. So, I always err on the side of fasting over feasting. And so if I don't feel like eating, I push my window out for sure. But I did very specific things today as well because of my workouts, and that really aided in the opportunity for me to extend my fast a little bit longer. So that's what happens when I say you're mature in your fasting, you can really play with things because you're not afraid of something going wrong. It's when we're still in those beginner stages of fasting, we're not really feeling healed completely, emotionally, mentally, and physically, that we're afraid to experiment, because if something goes wrong, it's going to make us want to throw in the towel. So I always say, make sure you have time and consistency under your belt before you start experimenting too much. Let's see. Susan started reading Grit. Great read. Yeah, awesome. Hopefully you're going to join us on Instagram for that, and you can share with us some of your thoughts. Valentina from Italy, it's 4 a.m. Happy to be awake and with you. I'm happy you're awake and with us too, Valentina. Hopefully it's an amazing day headed your way in Italy. Not totally awake. Well, yeah, 4 o'clock in the morning. Do the best you can, girlfriend. Michelle, how can we participate in the F3 group info on fasting, feasting, and sports? Michelle, we do that for our graduates of our current intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman course, because I need you to be really experienced in your fasting and your feasting before we start putting in that fitness, because it's a whole nother layer that we have to really be ready emotionally and mentally and physically to take on. So if you're a graduate of our course, our next one will be in September. Yasmin from Alberta, Canada. Welcome, girlfriend. Janet, I love that I can ebb and flow within the IF lifestyle and how it fits into my life each day. Now I'm working on the head games I play over my fitness. Yeah, Janet, don't worry about it. We're going to work on that in the F3 course, and I have a feeling you're going to do exceptional once we get past those couple little roadblocks for sure. Okay, so I'm going to see what we got going on here on YouTube. I'm going to do it on my iPad again so I don't have to get super, super close to the screen. And I will say hello to everyone and answer any questions we have. Dania from Chile, welcome, and thanks for joining us on YouTube. Lois from Katy, Texas, you're just right down the road. Mrs. T1904 from Australia. Tanya, hello. Lisa from Illinois. Rosanna from Oklahoma. Zoe Blue, girlfriend, haven't seen you in a while. Nice to have you back with us, and thank you for the compliment on my dress. Christy, needed this reboot Monday. In F3, the weekend was off the wagon type of weekend, but thanks to the information, I don't panic and did IF fasted my normal routine today. Yeah, fantastic. The best thing I can say about having an off weekend, whether it's because you had some social obligations you had to attend to, or that's just the way your life fell authentically on the weekend, is always just fast it away on a Monday. And I don't say that in a way so you can have like these outrageous like cheat weekends and justify that, but you have to live your life. And sometimes living your life means you're not going to be as regimented as you were maybe on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And the best thing that you can do is not beat yourself up over it, not feel guilty and depressed or resentful or remorseful about the things that you partook in and the people that you were with, and just have a really great clean fast on Monday. By Tuesday, you'll be totally back on the wagon, and it'll be a great way to really start to learn and mature through what you're doing. So congratulations, Christy, on getting back on it. Marnie from Australia, I have been having a bit of a break from fasting, feeling like I need to get back on track again. Great to catch you live. Yeah, Marnie, always just jump back in. You have a history and experience, and your body has amazing muscle memory. So you'll get right back into it because your body's going to thrive it because it already experienced it. Lisa, so glad you're sharing your journey with us. I'm still amazed at all the benefits. F3 class member. Yeah, just wait till you start kicking in some of those workouts. Lisa, it's going to be awesome. Kay, thanks. I'm feasting on hummus and pita right now and wine. Well, that's a great way to feast, I guess. That would put me over the sugar load end for my body at this point. But if that works for you, I say congratulations. Enjoy it. After fasting, of course. Yeah, for sure, Kay. Marnie, let's see. I avoid sweets and have bone broth my first meal. Yeah, bone broth is a great way to break a fast for sure. It's great gut health kind of stuff. Kiera, I think it is, from California. Welcome, girlfriend. I need healing for large ovarian cysts that affected my first pregnancy and then came back. I've always struggled with my weight. I'm loving how I feel while fasting. I've only been doing it for 3 months. I would say definitely Sierra, I think it is, or Kira. Definitely do some research on that. And I don't want to say like just a blanket statement that fasting fixes everything, but it kind of does. I think the best thing that we can do for our bodies is just really give it a break. And if I always say, if I'm suffering in any sort of way, the first thing I'm going to do is fast long and fast hard. And there's a great documentary called The Science of Fasting, I believe it's called. You can catch it on Netflix, and it is amazing and will help you really understand what I say when I say fasting will fix everything. Some of the stories from the people that have been fasting in these, they're clinics, so they're medically run, which is the way you're supposed to do deep healing kind of fasting, where you're doing fasting for days upon days upon days. You want to have it medically supervised. But when I watch those kind of documentaries and I see people fasting for days upon days upon days, and some of the changes that have been made in their body, like deep changes that are happening in their body, I think, gosh, if you just did it for a few hours a day consistently over time, would we not reap the same benefits? And that's where I always say, if I were to ever get really sick, I would probably go check myself into one of these places and just stay for weeks and just be medically supervised and make sure that I get my body an opportunity to heal itself. So I say fast, 16 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours, whatever is comfortable for you. But there's nothing that you can do to your body that's going to be bad if you do it intermittently. You're just giving your body an opportunity to put its energy on healing as opposed to energy on digesting. And that really is the simplicity of what fasting does for us. It allows our body to use its resources to heal, and it doesn't necessarily have to be overloaded constantly with having to digest and then pack food away. Because remember, when we're over consuming food and we're taking in way too many nutrients that our body can actually use, it packs it away. And it packs it away in some of the most undesirable places. And for most women who are aging, it's around the midsection because of hormonal body weight, because our hormones are so out of balance. And for a lot of women, it's in the thigh area and in the glute area, and that's just over consuming food. And if you give your body an opportunity to use some of that, what I call body pantry food, and just eat off of it, then you're going to notice that a lot of other things are going to start to magically happen for you as well. So never be afraid to put yourself in a fasted state. There's really not a whole lot of damage that's going to happen. You might feel a little bit of hunger pains in the beginning, but again, once those balance out, those subside as well. Tanya, after our conversation, I was able to transition into one meal a day. Thank you. No trying to control eating during my feast. Tanya, congratulations. Yeah, one meal a day is a great way to live too. That's kind of what Michael and I did today. We had a 2-hour feasting window. We had some manchego cheese, which is a sheep cheese, which doesn't cause us any problems. We had some olives and we had avocado. That was a snack we had while we were making dinner. And then when we had dinner, we had some grass-fed, grass-finished beef, which beef burgers that we barbecued on the barbecue outside. But they were probably 2/3 vegetables because we put a ton of vegetables in them. And then we had them on leaves of lettuce, and we had some vegetables topped on top of it, and then we had sweet potatoes for a side dish. That was all of the food we had today, and I worked out for an hour and a half, and I feel fantastic. So don't be afraid to really give your body an opportunity to feed off of itself, because then when you finally get to that point, you'll really understand, like, you don't really need to eat a whole lot of food if the food that you choose to eat is really good food that your body can actually put to use. And then we start solving all kinds of problems when we get to that point. Fressa, hello from Louisiana. I think that's Louisiana. When do you break your fast after working out? Depends. Again, it just depends on what my day is. Today, I worked out, and then about an hour after I worked out, I had coffee with coconut oil. No, I'd had a keto cream coffee. So it was a fat coffee. It's called functional fat. Combination of stuff that I put in my coffee today. And so I had that about an hour after I worked out. So I had some protein in my system in the form of collagen protein, and that was at 2:30. And then I didn't eat dinner till about 6:30, right? 6:30. So I had another 4-hour gap between the coffee and my actual meal. So that's how today worked. Tomorrow will be a completely different day. I don't really know how that's going to work yet. Are you lifting weights a few times a week, as well as your normal run? So today's workout was a 45-minute cycle training class. So I worked on my form and technique on the spin bike, and then I did a 10-minute shoulder, bicep and tricep workout, and then I did a 30-minute HIIT run on my treadmill. So that was my workout for today, and I did it in a dirty fasted state. So I just took some pre-workout supplement. We had dinner last night at 7, so I was 16 hours into my fast when I worked out from dinner last night. And dinner last night was very ketogenic, like, right? I had 2 small pieces of steak, and I had asparagus and avocado. Was what I had for dinner last night. So I worked off of a very low carb day yesterday as well, and I felt great, and I feel great now. Valentina, my mood is very good when I fast. I feel strong and clear-minded, but as soon as I eat, I have keto lunch. My mood goes down. Is that normal? Yeah, it is for a lot of people. I say make sure you're getting enough electrolytes in your system. That could be something that could be causing that to happen. And I don't know, there's this like euphoric sort of feeling we have when we fast, which is why it's such a great way to live. And then we introduce food into our body. We do sort of have that feeling of like a little bit of a downer. So maybe eat less. Or introduce food slowly. So try to break your food up maybe over a longer span of time so you don't just inundate yourself with a bunch of nutrients. Maybe start off slow. And a lot of ways that I do that is just having a couple olives and then wait about 30 minutes and then introduce some more food again. I feel so much better doing my walk or jog on an empty stomach, Lynette. Yeah, me too, Lynette. I love doing cardio on an empty stomach. I'm training, the way I'm training right now, where I'm doing my run at the end, is I'm trying to build up some stamina in a fasted state for running fasted. So I do my spin bike class, and then I do my weight training, and then I do a run at the end, and it's usually 20 to 30 minute like HIIT or interval type of run, and I'm doing that to train my body physically, mentally, and emotionally to be able to run totally fasted. And so it's working because my runs are getting so much better, and I'm doing it post other workouts, and I'm doing it very depleted as far as energy because I've already worked out, and even glycogen stores, and it's working out fantastic for me. So, I have Lynette. I have a question. How many days do I do my 16-8 fasting a week? I fast every day I want to feel fantastic. So every day that you want to feel fantastic, just work in a fast is the best thing that I can say. Susan, do you ever eat snacks, popcorn, wheat thins, or just meals? Okay, so for my body, and this is non-judgmental, it's my own personal body chemistry experience. Popcorn and wheat thins are like poison to my body now. And I used to be the girl that would eat the family size wheat thins that are really big squares. And I used to take it and I would slice a banana with it, and that used to be my snack. And now it would probably put me in some sort of like diabetic coma. But wheat thins would make me super sick. There's soy in those, so that right there puts me over the edge hormonally. And all the gluten and stuff in it would make me super sick. And popcorn, I can't eat either. I can't eat corn at all. It makes me feel very fatigued. It makes my joints hurt, and I wake up the next morning with the most heavy and painful bags under my eyes. So it's not just like wake up bags under my eyes, painful, inflamed bags under my eyes. So I don't eat popcorn at all anymore. Michelle, other than mineral water, do you suggest other forms of electrolyte supplement replacements? We usually use Nun products. Uses stevia. Yeah, Nun products I think are good as long as there's no soy in them. For me, I wouldn't. I've tried Nun. I didn't like them. I didn't feel like they did anything for me. But if they work for you, I say those are probably one of the better ones. And then even just putting salt in your water is great, or a lot of times salt under your tongue. And I salt everything that I eat, so I always make sure I have lots of sodium in my system as well. And Valentina, my mood is very good when I fast. I feel strong and clear-minded. I think I did that. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Yeah, so I drink mineral water throughout my day. I don't drink anything else unless I'm out and there's no mineral water available. So I get 100 to 150 ounces of mineral water in every single day, and that's not counting my workout water. So when I work out, I have a couple bottles of water. I think those are like 12 ounces each, so another 24, and I don't count that. I just count these that I have, the big bottles, and I have 4 to 6 a day. And I think I'm on number 5 right now, so I'm almost at my goal for sure. Okay, so great questions today, you guys. Thank you so much for participating in the conversation. And again, if you're catching this on the rebroadcast and you're still with us, definitely feel free to leave your questions or comments, or just let me know that you're here so that I know that you stopped by and I can say hello. The psychology of fasting, don't psych yourself out. It's just an opportunity to give your body a break from having to digest food. And the benefits that you get from it will totally outweigh any fear that you had. And like I said, I spent 2 years sitting on the sidelines being very judgmental and very stubborn and very close-minded. And it wasn't until I got myself into a bind medically that I took all of those things away emotionally, all those blocks that I had, and was able to open-mindedly jump in. And because of that, here we are today. And thousands of women are joining our community and are feeling the same amazing benefits from it. Let's see, Sierra, I'm down to 24. So a 24 protocol, water only during my fasting window. Working out consistently is very hard for me. I'm trying to heal myself from several things. I'm thinking I need to get down to 1 meal a day. Sierra, the best thing that you can do is just give yourself some time. If you're trying to heal your body, when I was healing my body, I took a year off of working out. Because I didn't want my body to be stressed in too many ways. And remember, fasting is a stress, it's a good stress, and working out is a stress, and it's also a good stress. But I really wanted my body to only have to expend energy on healing. And so I gave myself an entire year of not working out, and I'm just getting back into really focusing on training my body and fitness consistently. So don't be afraid to give your body a break if you need to really get the fasting under your belt and really get confident with it and consistent with it. And then you can start building back in some of the fitness stuff. And walking is fine while you're fasting and doing some really low intensity types of things. Even getting your heart rate to 50% of your max is beneficial fitness wise. So not everyone has to be doing HIIT workouts and not everyone has to be running marathons. 50% of your max heart rate is enough of an increase in your heart rate to show fitness benefits. So don't stress yourself out and don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself the time that you need to heal for sure. Cool. I think that's it on those on YouTube. And I think that's it. What is the best time while doing, I think it's 1 meal a day? Christy, what was the question you had? And I'll answer that and then we'll pop up. And just a reminder, we are going to be starting, I think we're going to do it after 4th of July weekend, because I know that's a crazy weekend for everybody. So after 4th of July weekend, we'll start our Grit series on Instagram, where we'll be going over the book Grit. We'll be having discussions on Instagram, and I'll kind of give you guys my thoughts on a grit and why I think grit is important, especially for something like fasting and really taking control of our life, health, and fitness so that we can really live and look and feel our best for the duration. We don't want to start losing things as we start to age. In my opinion, that is the time that we really want to start getting some things back. And I know especially for women, it is a time when, our kids are off and hopefully, in college or starting their careers and starting their own families, and we have this time where we can have our bodies back and we can have some time back. And for a lot of us, we have resources that are suddenly available to us financially and time and career and all those kind of things. And that's not the time that we want to start losing things. That's the time we want to be at our best. And what a better way to do that than by introducing something like intermittent fasting and really being aware of what nutrition is doing to our bodies as far as breaking us down and putting us in a position where we could be vulnerable for losing things. Okay, so I am going to jump off. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. Kara put the post there as well. I'm going to also try to start doing some IGTV stuff. So we're building up to getting you guys some regularly programmed information over on Instagram as well, which will be different from the content that we provide here. I always appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy day to spend it with us and join in on the conversation. Your input and your comments are always so valuable to me, as well as the community of women who are going to come back and watch these videos as well. So thanks for being vulnerable and for being so generous with your time and your comments. Wednesday, we'll be back here at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Oh, no, we won't be back here Wednesday. We won't be back here Wednesday. Let me correct that while I'm here. We are going to go see The Lion King with our family. Little Gabby has never seen the musical The Lion King, so we are taking her on Wednesday night out in downtown Dallas to go do that. So I won't be here on Wednesday, but I promise you that we'll upload something great for you guys to catch here, either on YouTube or Facebook in the live place. And then we'll be back on Friday for our IF Keto Life page, where we'll be broadcasting something live over there on Facebook as well. And then I'll always see you guys on Instagram. I'm always posting some stuff there as well. So lots of places to catch me if I'm not showing up here live. I'm always an open book, so ask any questions you would like to ask, and if you feel like you have something that you don't want to make public, always feel free to email me as well. My email is posted everywhere. I try to do my best to answer everyone who sends me an email and get you as much information as we can, so that you can really feel confident about hopefully joining one of our next courses, and that one will be on July the 7th. 3 weeks where I teach you how to intermittent fast, intermittent feast, and emotionally and socially handle this lifestyle that is so amazing for so many of us. So hopefully I'll see you in the course. Otherwise, I'll see you around social media the rest of this week. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you.